Hello everyone. In this video, we will learn to explain the magnetic properties of coordination compounds based on crystal field theory and to determine the high spin and low spin octahedral complex ions. In the previous video, we have discussed the postulates of crystal field theory. In this video, we will discuss how the postulates of crystal field theory explain the magnetic properties of coordination compounds. Specifically, we will try to answer the question raised in the previous video, which is why hexaamine cobalt 3 plus ion is diamagnetic, whereas hexafluoro cobalt 3 plus ion is paramagnetic in nature. We learned earlier that the magnetic properties are determined by the number of unpaired electrons in the d orbitals of the metal ions. The diamagnetic compounds have 0 unpaired electrons, while the paramagnetic compounds have non-zero number of unpaired electrons. So, let us find out the number of unpaired electrons in both of these compounds. The oxidation state of cobalt is 3 plus in both these compounds. Next, let us write the electronic configuration of cobalt 3 plus ion. For cobalt atom, the electronic configuration is argon, 4s2 and 3d7. And to form cobalt 3 plus, the cobalt atom has to lose 3 electrons. The first 2 electrons come out of 4s orbital and the remaining electron comes out of 3d orbital. Therefore, the electronic configuration of cobalt 3 plus ion is argon 3d6. Now let us draw the partial orbital diagram to find out the number of unpaired electrons. The cobalt 3 plus ion in its free state, that is a state not bound to any ligands, have degenerate d orbitals. Let us fill the 6 electrons in these d orbitals following Hund's rule. According to Hund's rule, when filling the electrons into degenerate orbitals, place 1 electron each in all the orbitals, maintaining parallel spins before pairing them. So this is the electronic configuration of cobalt 3 plus ion in its free state. We have 4 unpaired electrons. Therefore, the metal ion in its free state will be paramagnetic. However, in both these compounds, the central metal ion is bound to ligands. And according to crystal field theory, in the presence of ligands, the d orbitals loses its degeneracy and split into T2g and Eg set of orbitals. The T2g and Eg set of orbitals have different energy. In the next slide, let us learn to fill the electrons into split version of d orbitals and explain the magnetic behavior of both of these compounds. Next, let us learn to fill the 6 electrons of cobalt 3 plus ion into the split version of d orbitals in the presence of ligands. Based on the Aufbau principle, the electron enters into the available orbitals of lowest energy. In this case, it is T2g orbitals. Since these 3 orbitals are degenerate, that is, they have same energy, we follow the Hund's rule while placing the first 3 electrons. For the 4th electron, we have 2 options. Option 1, we place the 4th electron into the T2g orbital and pair it with the first electron. And option 2, we can place it in the Eg orbital while keeping the T2g electrons unpaired. Now the question is, which option should we choose? The answer to this question is whichever one costs less energy. To place an electron in the Eg orbital, it costs energy equivalent to the crystal field splitting energy, that is delta naught. And to place the electron in the T2g orbital, the incoming electron should overcome the repulsion with the existing electron in the same orbital. To overcome this repulsion, it costs some additional energy. This energy cost is called as pairing energy. Now we have two possibilities. One, pairing energy is less than crystal field splitting energy, or pairing energy is greater than crystal field splitting energy. The pairing energy is almost a constant, and based on the crystal field theory, we can say that the crystal field splitting energy depends on the field strength of the ligand. The greater the field strength of the ligand, the greater is its crystal field splitting energy. The ligands whose delta naught or crystal field splitting energy is so large that it is greater than pairing energy are known as strong field ligands. And the ligands whose splitting energy is so small that it is smaller than the pairing energy are known as weak field ligands. Now let us fill the electrons in both cases. First case, pairing energy is less than crystal field splitting energy. For this, we add the first 3 electrons in the T2g orbitals following the Hund's rule. For the 4th electron, it costs more energy to place it in the Eg orbitals compared to placing it in the T2g orbitals. Therefore, the electron goes into the T2g orbitals and pairs with existing electron. The 5th and 6th electrons will continue to go into the T2g orbitals as the pairing energy is less than crystal field splitting energy. And this is the electronic configuration of cobalt 3+ ion in the presence of a strong field ligand. Case 2. Pairing energy is greater than crystal field splitting energy. In this case, we add the first 3 electrons in the T2g orbitals following the Hund's rule. For the 4th electron, it costs less energy to place it in the Eg orbitals compared to placing it in the T2g orbitals. Therefore, the electron goes into the Eg orbitals. We have 2 more electrons remaining. We place the 5th electron in the remaining Eg orbital, and the 6th electron goes back into the T2g orbitals pairing with the first d electron. This is the electronic configuration of cobalt 3+ ion in the presence of a weak field ligand. Let us now look at the unpaired electrons. The complex with strong field ligand contains lower number of unpaired electrons than the complex with weak field ligand. We call the complex with less number of unpaired electrons as low spin complex. And the complex with greater number of unpaired electrons is called as high spin complex. Low spin complexes are formed by strong field ligands, and high spin complexes are formed by weak field ligands. In this particular example, the low spin complex has 0 unpaired electrons. Therefore, it is diamagnetic in nature. And the high spin complex is paramagnetic. So, let us now answer the question posed at the beginning of the video. Ammonia is a strong field ligand. Therefore, hexaamine cobalt 3+ is found to be diamagnetic, whereas F- is a weak field ligand. Therefore, hexafluorocobalt 3- ion is found to be paramagnetic in nature. Next, let us discuss how to determine if a given ligand is strong field or weak field ligand. This can only be determined experimentally. We have earlier seen the spectrochemical series, that is, ligands arranged in the order of increasing crystal field strength. It is safe to assume that the ligand with the highest field strength, that is cyanide ion, is a strong field ligand. And similarly, the ligand on the other side of the series with lowest field strength is a weak field ligand. However, for the ligands in the middle, we have to determine experimentally if it acts as a strong field ligand or a weak field ligand. Let us now do an example problem. Predict the number of unpaired electrons in the complex ion hexaiodochromium 4-. Pause the video here and try to answer this question. First, let us determine the oxidation number of central metal ion and its electronic configuration. We have one chromium, and let's assume its oxidation number is X plus 6 iodines, and each iodine's oxidation number is -1. If we add these up, it should give -4, which is the net charge on the complex ion. If we solve for X, we get X is equals to +2. That is, the chromium is in its +2 oxidation state. Let us now write its electronic configuration. The electronic configuration of chromium atom is argon, 4s1 and 3d5. Remember, chromium has anomalous electronic configuration. The chromium atom has to lose 2 electrons to form Cr2+ cation. The chromium atom loses its first electron from the 4s and one more electron from the 3d. Therefore, the electronic configuration of Cr2+ cation is argon 3d4. Next, let us fill these 4 electrons in the split version of d orbitals. From the spectrochemical series, we know that I- is a weak field ligand. That is, its crystal field splitting energy is less than pairing energy. In this case, the first 3 electrons go into the T2g orbitals. For the 4th electron, it costs less energy to place it in the Eg orbital than to place it in the T2g orbital. Therefore, the electron goes into the Eg orbitals. The complex has 4 unpaired electrons. Let us now see what happens if Cr2+ is complexed with a strong field ligand such as Cn-. For a strong field ligand, pairing energy is less than crystal field splitting energy. The first 3 electrons again go into the T2g orbitals. The 4th electron goes into the T2g orbitals because placing it in Eg orbitals costs a lot more energy. This complex has 2 unpaired electrons. In case of chromium 2+ ion, the high spin complex has 4 unpaired electrons, while the low spin complex has only 2 unpaired electrons. Note that both of them are paramagnetic in nature. However, the one with 4 electrons will be more paramagnetic than the one with the 2 electrons.